Cheri!
Hello!
So good to have you back.
Thank you for having me back.
Today we are talking about rejection and how to rebound from rejection.
The dreaded
Which is something that happens every single day in recruitment.
Yeah, in everyday life, to
In
be honest,
everyday life.
not just
Actually,
recruitment.
That's true. If you're single, you also should listen to this podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about rejection. No, let's not.
No, that's not. We don't want tears. In terms of recruitment, I think that rejection and how to handle rejection is extremely important because we are working within an industry where we get rejected every day. We get rejected from BD efforts. We get rejected from clients, from candidates. We also feel the passive rejection when it comes to our candidates not getting the roles that we thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
Or with our clients not liking the candidates or the candidate not liking the client. We feel that passive rejection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rejection is really, really difficult to overcome. And the typical term, recruitment is a roller coaster. That is what rejection is like. And unfortunately, it is something that you just need to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and see every day as a new day or every segment of the day. I remember back when we were doing a lot of BD a couple of years back, I used to do segments of the day. I used to do morning and then afternoon. And so I'd go for lunch, brush up all the negativity. And I think I mentioned this on a LinkedIn post that I did. I would chat to a colleague and we would talk about the 3 things that we're grateful for that day, put us in a much better mood, go back to the office, whole new start.
Yeah.
What happened in the morning? Don't care about that. Moving on to the next thing. It's so, so important.
I actually saw your LinkedIn post and I did that. Yeah, I did. So I had
Influencer.
I know, influencer. Yeah, I saw your LinkedIn post and I think I was having a bit of a bad day. And I think also my colleague was having a bit of a bad day. And I just turned around to the team and I said, come on team, what is 3 things? And I think because I commented on your post and I said 3 things we're grateful for. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, some of them are probably not in the right mindset. Obviously demanding it of someone's a bit different to doing it yourself. But no, she come back to me and she said, okay, this is what I'm grateful for. And it could be so simple. Like, I'm grateful for this coffee because it's kept me going. Or I'm grateful for you asking me that question because I really needed this pickup, you know? And I used to do gratitude every morning anyway. And it was a really good way to start my day because rejection is real and it is really hard to come back from, especially when you're up against it all the time. And it really changed it around. So I think you should know that. You really influenced our team. So well done.
Influencer. You mentioned the other day when we were talking about the topic, actually, we went for breakfast and we were chatting and you mentioned about a 5-second funeral. Tell me about that.
Start by saying, okay, so I actually saw this in a movie and I cannot for the life of me remember what movie it was. So I'm sorry, it's not copyright. I just don't know what it's from. But in the movie, it said 5-second funeral. Now, I am quite an emotional recruiter. I get quite attached to my clients.
All the feels.
Yeah, all the feels. I get quite attached to the process. I get attached to who I speak to. And ultimately, you're in recruitment because you want to help people. People forget that. It's not just sales and money and everything else. You do want to help these people build a good life. And so I get quite attached to that. And there have been times where I've been at my desk and, I've wanted to throw everything in the air, push my laptop off the desk and just scream.
Chuck it off the balcony.
Correct. I've tried to do that several times. But you can't do that. So, I've had a lot of coaching myself from my director, from my team lead on this.
Yeah.
A bit of self-awareness and a bit of, you've got to calm down. So I came up with the concept of a 5-second funeral. And it kind of stuck and I've loved it because it just means I need my 5 seconds to really react the way I need to react. Upset, sad, angry, frustrated, whatever it is. But then I really need to let it go because I found if I didn't have that 5 seconds, it will go into the rest of my day.
And it will fester.
And it impacts all of my conversations. I could go on to have a conversation with a candidate who would say, that salary just isn't right for me. And because I've just had rejection prior to that conversation, I take that really personally and think it's the end of the world. And it's not. That's actually a really easy fix. It's a conversation with the client or negotiation between them both. And so that 5-second funeral for me was a way for me to allow myself to feel the emotion I needed to feel and then leave it and move on. And it's something that I've tried to implement at work and across my team, because we all care. We all respond naturally in a way of rejection, but it's really about helping manage that and shift that mindset. So yeah, that's what I'm trying. It's doing really well. So if anyone can pick up on that and go with it, I would recommend it.
Yeah, that 5-second view rule. I love that.
Do it.
And or you know, even just take yourself away from your desk, take yourself on a walk, go do a lap of the building. Just take yourself away from that thing in front of you, because getting fresh air and just moving on is so important.
Yeah.
So important. We used to do that every time, like half an hour BD calls. You know, you do a half-hour BD session or an hour BD session, and then you just do a lap of the building.
Yeah, just totally fair.
I need fresh air.
I think gone are the days where you have to be chained at your desk. I remember like going straight into recruitment after uni. You know, it was very strict.
Oh my goodness.
If you weren't at your desk, why are you not there? Where are you? You know,
don't make a cup of tea. That's eating into your time.
100%. And it's like, sales, let's go. So gone are the days where you have to do that. I hope. I definitely don't work in that environment, and I'm very lucky that, you know, the people around me understand when I need a minute. I also need to be conscious of my energy with them. I'm quite a high energy person, in case you didn't know. And so my energy really infects the room, and I need to be very mindful of how I present myself and who I present myself around. And if I need to remove myself because I just can't let it go, I need to do that. Not only for me, but for those around me as well. And that's also coaching that I've had. You know, you can be in tunnel vision and be in your own world, because ultimately recruitment is your business. But if you're affecting everyone around you, that's a problem. So,
100%.
Yeah.
And when you work within a team environment and you're working with other people and colleagues, it is so important to make sure that your energy isn't killing the vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really easy to do. Like, we've all worked with people that are quite negative and can kill the vibe of the office.
Yeah.
And I
Don't we know it? And it festers. It just, and you get annoyed.
But we call them viruses.
Yeah. You're a virus.
You're a virus. But it's true. But it's also, I think that negativity leads to more negativity.
Yeah, it does.
I'm very much of the mindset that if you're somebody that sees the negative and you are constantly getting rejected and you're seeing the negative, you're actually asking for more rejection.
So true. That is so true.
You know, manifestation is so true.
Yeah.
And once you look at the positives in things, you will get more positive.
Yeah.
And that's actually, you know, you're always going to get rejected, unfortunately, but it's about flipping that.
Yeah.
And using that rejection to your advantage and saying, okay, and self-reflection as well. I know that if there's a rejection from something, I'll self-reflect on that conversation. Was there something else that I could have said? Was it something that I, you know, didn't say? Or did I do something that perhaps I need to look at changing moving forward? And it's about self-reflecting, but not criticizing yourself, constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And moving forward and evolving and learning.
Yeah.
We are all creatures of habit, but we all need progression.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think identifying that improvement is always there to be had. So the power of feedback is just unbelievable in recruitment. But you have to want to accept the feedback, like you've said. So I think that's really important. And being able to work on yourself to be able to make those improvements. We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. But if we can make a process easy for somebody else, or if we can, you know, streamline something so that it's more appealing, whatever it might be, then we should do that. Absolutely. And I think being able to have that coaching available to you is also really important. You know, seeking mentorship, seeking feedback sessions, going into webinars, listening to podcasts on how you can better yourself for your own personal improvement.
And support around you as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important to work for a company and a manager that does support you in that. I personally have never worked for a company that were, you know, negative, but I know of people in the industry that unfortunately do work for companies that are quite negative and finger pointing and, you know, well, you didn't do this right, or that call wasn't great because you didn't do this.
Yeah.
And it's actually about surrounding yourself with people that are like, no, that call was great.
Yeah.
And you know what? You couldn't have changed it. It was just the outcome.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or on days where they think, actually, do you know what? You could have said this. Oh, noted. So it is about kind of creating those healthy habits. And part of becoming a better leader and communicator, I've just done a leadership course as well, is about talking, but it's about kind of letting people make mistakes.
Yeah.
And if rejection was the outcome, it's not going to be moving forward. It's not going to be the next time.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You have to let people make mistakes and let people learn and grow from what they're doing. It's so important. And everyone is human. But I think that, you know, going back to, I know somebody that works in an environment where their manager will literally, like a QA, do you know contact center? When they QA your calls.
Yeah.
And they literally will go into every little thing that you said and be like, well, you said this and you shouldn't have said this and you need to, you know, sales 101. It's all a load of crap, really. But there are companies out there that are like that.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
you know,
no.
if you're working for a company, blink twice.
Please leave. Do you know what? I actually had something happen to me recently, and I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. So I had a new client. I was really pumped. It was a new organization that I hadn't done much work with. And I thought, yeah, I've got this. I've done my research. And, you know, I'm a bit more of a proactive recruiter because the market's pretty slow. So I put together a mailer with 5 great candidates that you should hire. And I sent it to a new contact. And, you know, in my mind, I was doing the right thing and I was giving them some really good profiles, especially in today's market when it's so tight. And, you know, I put that they were confidential. Anyway, the email I got back made me want to quit.
Oh, my goodness.
I got an email back and it said, you send unsolicited spam and call the information confidential. Doesn't seem very confidential to me. No thanks. And I died. I'm
5-second funeral.
5 seconds. Seriously, I didn't know how to come back. So I was like, okay, what do I do with this? Because that's rejection.
Some people are just mean, though.
That's rejection in like...
They were probably having a bad day.
Yeah, and you have to, again, right, this is great because you have to remind yourself that, did I catch them at a bad time? Did they just come out of a meeting that went really bad? Are they currently doing a school pickup? You know, and I had to just go, okay, take a second. I've never had an email back to me like that before. And it really rattled me and upset me. And I really thought I was doing the right thing. I've kept everything as confidential as I could. And I didn't really know what to say. So I had my 5-second funeral and then
deleted the email.
Removed the email from all of the database and no one could see it. No, I actually was really open about it to my colleagues because I sat there and I went, oh my goodness, I've really messed up. And they all said, okay, what's happened? And then I said, right, I just need to tackle this on my own for a second because if I talk about it, I think the gravity of it will hit me even harder. So I actually went and tried to give them a call. I don't know how that call was going to go, but I
Did you have a plan?
Nope. I had a bit of a plan.
I'm going to get this person to like me.
Yeah, to be right, I'm a people pleaser. So I was like, please don't hate me.
Or please don't answer.
I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but they didn't answer. But I did call, and if they answered the call, I wanted to explain, and I wanted to really get them on my side. They didn't answer. So I sent back an email just kind of explaining why I did what I did and why I stated it was confidential. And then just kind of went into the fact that we already recruit for them anyway, so we're approved, you know, all that jazz. But that was rejection in, you know, all of its glory. And it was definitely a moment that I wanted to leave and never be seen again. So, and to this day...
Here's my resignation.
Honestly,
I won't be back
so close.
after lunch.
Thank you for your time, but I'm out.
But also, going back to rejection, actually, rejection is, as a people pleaser, one of the hardest things to deal with.
Oh, 100%.
It's an emotion that I hate having because I feel like a failure at life when somebody rejects me. I think the whole world is against me, and I'm like, well, if that person hates me, the 60,000 billion other people in the world also hate me.
Yeah,
and everyone's
so
against
true.
me.
And your whole client base no longer want to talk to
Yeah,
you,
that's
and you
it.
no longer exist.
And I'm not a specialist in my field anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing recruitment anymore.
Yep.
8 years down the pan. No. Moving on.
I'm now going to work with animals in the zoo. I will now be a dolphin
That'd
trainer.
be lovely though, wouldn't it?
No, seriously, it is. Animals don't really reject you, so let's maybe go there. But no, it is. It's so true, and I think we focus so much. Like I focused so much on that email at the time that I forgot all the other really good things I did that day. And we get quite a lot of training, or just maybe a bit of self-talk around rejection in our business on how to deal with it, how to pick yourself up, use your colleagues, use your mentors, use your network. You know, I speak to you a lot, so you pick me up quite a lot too. If I sent you this at the time, you would have died. But
I would have just been like, move on, babe.
Exactly. But
I would have died as well.
Yeah.
And so, And
It was
I
valid.
think that's also another thing as well. When you reach out to people, they actually make the problem seem so much smaller because they're like, it doesn't matter. It is, because when it's not happening to them, it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
But that is so true, and it is your coping mechanism behind that as well. And it's important to just be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And realize that you're not going to be for everybody. That client probably, had a rubbish day, whatever, but you're not going to be for everybody. No, not everyone in the world is going to like you, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a really valid point, because that was something that took me a really long time to overcome. You and I are very outgoing people, or at least we like to think so. So me and you can definitely both talk to brick walls if we have to. So being able to have that communication and feel like everyone should like you is not reality of what is actually happening. And it's okay for you to have just a professional relationship with someone and not know a lot about them not know a lot about you, and keep it at surface level. We as recruiters have to have emotional intelligence to know how far to push a relationship, because if you push it too far, you damage it. So rejection in that form for us might not even be rejection. It might just be that they don't want to talk to us in that way. They don't want to know what we did at the weekend, and they don't want to know what we had for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to have.
Some people don't need that small talk.
Exactly. And that's actually not rejection. It's just obviously how we like to talk to people might not be how they want to talk to us. So recognizing, like you said, not everyone is going to adore you and want to be with you all the time and talk to you and whatever. It's definitely not personal. It is still a business. We have to remind ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be your friend. Some people just see it as a business transaction.
Yeah.
And they want what you have to say in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. And I have clients of mine that I try to call for months, and we have a really good relationship, and they won't talk to me, they won't answer my phones, they won't come back to my emails. And that for me is a form of rejection. So I go, why do you want to talk to me? What have I done? Are you going to other agencies? And you start to really overthink your relationship with them.
Yeah.
But then when they have a role or when they need you,
that's when they talk to you.
You're the first person they come to, and you go, oh my God, I've just had months of feeling like you hate me.
Yeah.
And I've had months of thinking we no longer have a relationship. But like going back to something we previously said, that 98% of what they're doing in their day to day has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. You're very small snippet.
Absolutely. And they call me and say, hey, long time no speak, I've got a role, can you help me? And you go,
you've been ignoring my voicemail.
Yeah. Excuse me, I've wanted at least 4 coffee dates with you prior to this conversation.
But it's true, you're a very, very small snippet of their day. And if they're a HR professional, they have so many things that they have to deal with. Recruitment is a very, very small thing.
Yeah.
And they actually outsource that to you. And you're the professional.
Yeah.
And so they'll talk to you when they want you.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, they're still thinking about you because you're the first person that they reached out to.
Yeah.
But I totally relate to that. I have similar relationships within my industry too. And I have to kind of have a talk to myself every so often when I go, why isn't this person answering my call? Or why don't they want to go for lunch with me? Or, but it's just because they don't have any needs at the moment. They're very busy doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or it's performance review time, or it's clerkship within legal, or, there's so much stuff that goes on in the background that we're not part of.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just recognising that too.
Yeah.
And so in terms of obviously rejection too, and flipping it on its head and using it to your advantage, when you're setting new goals, do you use some of the things that you've been rejected by to set new goals?
Yeah, so I guess, that email that I sent, that was a massive lesson and learning curve that And it reminded me the power of a relationship, because, you know, I must have been clutching at straws at the time, or just really looking for work that maybe, quite frankly, I probably didn't deserve because I hadn't built the relationship with that person. So, you know, albeit the email back to me was pretty harsh, but it really identified the lack of relationship that I had.
Yeah.
So when I set new goals, it's really, okay, I don't have a relationship within this department or this team. How can I build that relationship there? What can I do? What can I identify? What can I bring to the table that is of value and of use to them? It doesn't always have to be, give me work so I can help you. You know, I understand the market. I understand the candidates. I understand, especially there was a salary shift because there's a lot of budget cuts in my industry. So government is pretty stretched. To being able to come back with that knowledge and give them something in return really helped with my goal setting for the next quarter.
Yeah.
You know, who can I pinpoint? Who can I help? Who I feel probably need it the most?
Yeah.
And that really, it's all a lesson. It's all a learning curve. With each rejection, you learn a lesson.
100%. And, you know, rejection is a very common occurrence in any industry, not just recruitment. And it does not define your worth as a person.
Absolutely.
And it's just about recognizing that everybody gets rejected in any way, shape or form, be it the dating industry, be it, you know, anything.
That's probably the most harsh industry.
Oh,
So.
exactly. And, you know,
Let's not go there.
let's not go there. Let's not open up that can of worms. That'll be another episode.
Oh my gosh.
But it's true, you know, rejection is part of life, and it's how you deal with that rejection and shake it off and move forward and get that resilience that you need. And having resilience is something in recruitment that I think people look for when they look to bring on a recruiter, something that, you know, can't necessarily teach, but it's something that you grow so much in the industry. Like, I know that when I first started, I used to cry so much.
Oh God.
Yeah,
no.
I did. I used to cry all the time.
I think I did too.
I cried all the
I
time.
think I've cried at my desk a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I still do that now, but it's much less.
Yeah, I just do it in the toilet now. No,
Yeah, now I just go, and now it's just one tear. It used to be streams of tears.
Resilience. That is resilience.
Exactly. But it's true, you know, you do just build up that resilience. And I think that in recruitment as well, to anyone that's listening that's in that kind of, you know, roller coaster of recruitment, and you're on that real down and you're just getting rejected left, right and centre, it will get better.
Oh, 100%.
It will get better.
And I think
And it
that's
always
the make or
does.
break in recruitment. I think rejection, this is a massive topic that we could go on and on about because we experience it so much. And it probably changes the way we view people because we get rejection on all sorts of things. And people lie to us about things. You know, there's a lot going on in recruitment. But I think, liars, yeah. I think ultimately rejection and resilience is what makes or breaks a recruiter, to be honest.
Exactly.
I don't think if you cannot handle rejection, you should not be in sales.
Yeah.
It really is as simple as that.
It is.
So,
And I think a lot of people that get out of recruitment get out of it when they're in that really low slump rejection.
Yeah.
But you've just got to remember it will get better.
Yep.
And if you do resilient yourself through that, it will get better, and you'll be a better recruiter for having gone through that experience.
Absolutely.
So don't let it make you want to leave the industry.
yeah, and they say that improvement, you know, personal development is definitely not just one straight line. It's definitely up and down. You know,
Yeah.
and that's peaks and troughs of recruitment. So I think if you can get through the lowest part, you'll experience the highest of highs.
100%, like champagne and razor blades.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a
Good analogy.
Well, thank you so much for being on today, Cheri.
Thank you.
Obviously, another great conversation. We can go on for hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to see you and have a chat with you. So thank you.
Thanks, Cheri.